Hello and welcome everyone, Slothcakes here, and today I want to talk about Gundam Evolution, since the closed network testing just happened and I got to get my hands on it myself and see what's up. So I just want to give you my first impressions, my overall thoughts, things I like, dislike, all that snaz. And while I'm not the biggest fan of hero shooters, or really FPS shooters in general, I do like me some Gundam games, either be the good ones or the bad ones. I've played quite a few of them, so I take what I can get. So for the skinny, Gundam Evolution is the upcoming hero shooter made by Bandai. The heroes in the game are various mobile suits from the different universes and source materials of Gundam, and while the game doesn't reinvent the wheel or anything, I've had a blast playing the game. It is really fun. And while there are problems in this game being a hero shooter and a game marketed towards Gundam fans, despite those problems, the game is still pretty fun. As for gameplay, like I said, it's nothing new. The controls are easy and straightforward, and the things they add like the boost system, which allows players to quickly dash in any direction on the ground, boost while moving, or hover in mid-air, and characters range from having 1 boost gauge to 3. This gives every mobile suit some form of mobility, and every mobile suit benefits from this one way or another. Another thing is being down. When your HP drops to 0, instead of just dying, you sit there and your teammates can actually pick you back up. This makes it so you have to finish everyone off. Not only do you have to drop their HP down to 0, but you have to destroy them while they're in a down state, because if you don't and you leave them alone, their teammate might be able to bring them back up, and instead of spawning all the way back to their base and going back into battle, they just get up back where they are and go straight into the action. So if you're not careful and you use all your skills, exhaust your ult and down a whole lot of enemies, if you don't finish them off, they might just come back up and punch you in the face. And to mention the game modes, overall they're not too bad. We're missing things like payload, but honestly I was never really that big of a fan of payload, so I'm kinda glad it's not in it. But we have 3 game modes and they're very simple to understand and extremely straightforward. Point capture, you just capture the points, then you unlock more points to capture. You have domination, which is a king of the hill that changes every so often. And destruction, where you want to go to the enemy base and plant the bomb. There's an attacking and defense team for both point capture and destruction. Like I said, straightforward and simple. Now I do want to go into the roster, and I'm not going to go too in depth because we'll be here all day and there's a decent amount of suits to cover, but I just want to say some general things about it overall. Overall, the roster and the kits do feel nice. It complements the mobile suit, and I haven't found a mobile suit that I really did not like to play. Now play against, that's a completely different story. Now, some of my 2 favorite mobile suits in the game is the Ashima and the Methis. I just really love their playstyle. I'm a big fan of the transforming mechanic, how it just lets you get around really quickly. I love the Methis because it's a healer that can actually attack while healing, which is a lot of fun and really helpful for the team, and that turret just puts in so much work. As for the Ashima, I love that main gun, that flame grenade is beautiful, and everything else about his kit is just really fun to play and interact. Now for some things I don't like, I really like the Zaku too, but it just feels weird, and I know why he doesn't have it, but not having a right click just feels off to me. I love the turn A, but his grab is a really weird skill. I feel like it's barely used, and you gotta use it in like the very specific moments because the startup is weird, the distance is weird. I feel like it just needs to be reworked. Then there's the Murasai with an accurate mid-range beam rifle, but then his skills are a grapple hook that brings enemies towards you and a melee. And while both those skills go good together, I feel like his main weapon doesn't really complement those skills. And I get the Murasai's gimmick of being able to locate one enemy and just burst them down with a shoot, grapple, and stab, but it just seems a little odd to me. Funny enough though, I find it really fun playing this character because hooking someone from a distance, then bringing them over to you is just a really fun thing to do. Now we're going to be moving to one of the biggest questions about this game. How do I feel about the roster as a Gundam fan? It's odd. At first you question some of the picks like the Murasai and why the Seed rep was the Dom Trooper, and the cool mobile suits, but it is a little weird. However, one thing we have to have in this game is visual diversity, since as a Gundam fan, I'm not going to be mistaking the Turn A for the Exia, but I did force some of my friends to download this game and play with me, and they know nothing about Gundam, so to them, every single mobile suit was a Gundam. And to put it simply, having an entire roster with a lot of mobile suits that are white and blue with V-fins and the word Gundam in the name, or just in general having a lot of mobile suits that look like Zaku's or Jim's, is not a good look for newcomers. It's gonna come off as lazy and uninspiring and just unappealing. As for a more specific example, we have the Pale Rider, which is a great choice, but personally, I'm a big fan of the Blue Destiny Unit 1, and they would play the exact same if he was in this game. However, the Pale Rider is the better choice because he visually stands out, and at a glance, the Blue Destiny just looks like a blue gem, and you don't want to have that since the gem's already in the game. But like as a side note, come on, it's right there. Just please do it, Bandai. The Blue Destiny Unit 1 would be such a good skin for the Pale Rider. Like, you don't even need to change anything, and then he pops his alt, it goes exam system instead of Hades system. That'd be so cool, it's right there. Come on, please, Bandai. Now, it is important to know that Gundam is 40 years old. That's a lot of source material with a lot of mobile suits. Not everyone's favorite mobile suit's gonna be in this game, and that makes sense. But it is odd that this game is marketed worldwide, and we do see things like IBO, 00, series that are popular worldwide, but we don't see Wing or G Gundam, which aired in Toonami and does have a very popular stance on the West. And I understand G Gundam because a lot of the mobile suits are punchy, and we already have the Barbados and the Exia, but Wing just seems like a very obvious choice if you want to appeal to that audience. Just because honestly, if you got a Gundam game marketed worldwide, Seed, IBO, 00, G Gundam, Wing, early UC, I feel like those are the big ones you want to focus on because worldwide, those are probably the most well known. And it's important to have these characters at launch because we don't want to do what Gundam Versus did and have all the PS2 Gundam characters and G Gundam be later on down the line DLC. That just feels like a dumb thing to do. The final thing I want to talk about is the immersion and personality of the game. Now this segment's going to be more geared towards Gundam fans. Does this game feel like an actual Gundam game? Does it do the game enough justice? Does it give you enough fan service? And does it feel like you're actually playing as giant robots, or are you playing as a game that had the Gundam skin thrown onto it? And it might sound silly, but when you got a game based off a franchise, you want it to feel like it's in that universe, instead of just feeling like some last minute shovelware. Now we're gonna compare Evolution to two other Gundam games that are PvP. Battle Operation 2 and Gundam Extreme vs Maxi Boost On, or we're just gonna be calling it MBON. These are two Gundam games that I still play today and did get worldwide releases. Now let's talk about Battle Operation 2 and Immersion, and there are things in this game that do a great job of making it feel like you're in a giant robot. One thing is leaving your mobile suit where you can just look behind you and see this giant machine. Not only that, but the maps do a great job of conveying size because they put a lot of things that just compared to your mobile suit look tiny. There's houses that you can easily walk over, small bodies of water that when you get out of your mobile suit you realize these aren't that small. You see roads that can accommodate two cars that your mobile suit can just barely walk right over. There's a lot of things in these maps that are made to remind you that you're in a giant machine. Another great thing about BO2 is when you're at low HP you start to spike, and when you're at very critical low you actually catch flames in certain areas, and when you die in this game you just don't fall over and explode. You fall over and make this huge mushroom cloud that actually clogs up vision, and if enough mobile suits die at the same time, you can't see shit. And what the awesome thing about this explosion is that if you're near it, you can actually get staggered. And while I do like these examples for immersion in a Gundam game, I do want to move on to MBON and personality, because unlike Battle Operation 2 and Gundam Evo, you're not just playing as the RX-78 in MBON, you're playing as the RX-78 piloted by Amuro Ray. Hearing his voice while you play and seeing the Gundam do things that reference the source material in his kit adds so much to the fan service. It makes the game have so much personality to it, and it makes it feel like you're playing as him in his mobile suit straight out of the source material. And this is layered throughout every single character in this game. If you know your stuff and the source material, you're gonna see a ton of references in every mobile suit just because they layered so much and put so much in every character that it's just a blast seeing. You hear the characters say iconic lines that they did, you see mobile suits do poses and do things that they did in the series. It's just so much love in every character that I just love talking about it because of how much personality each mobile suit has. Now let's get everything I just said and bring this back to Gundam Evolution and see how it holds up. The mobile suit and the kits are pretty nice. A lot of it's filled with things that you would say, yeah, that's something that mobile suit has done, will do, or has, and that is a good thing. However, the maps fall heavy in this department. All these maps just look like generic FPS maps, and there are a few things here and there that help convey the size of your mobile suit, but it just feels so odd. None of these maps really feel like you're inside a giant machine. Being a Gundam game and having 40 years of source material, you would think some of these maps would be an iconic location where very noteworthy things are in these maps that you can instantly recognize as a Gundam fan. Another thing that did not help this game was the customization, and maybe it was limited because it was the closed network testing and there's gonna be more at launch, but for what I've seen so far, the skins and customization in this game are kind of lame and basic. This is a factor that falls really flat with Gundam Evolution because other games, not just hero shooters, really thrive on this, where you have your favorite characters in various skins, from recolors, slightly different outfits, or have like the highest tier skin, which is a completely different outfit that makes the character look really different but still recognizable, with particle effects, sound bites, and all that stuff. Gundam Evolution has none of that. This was a problem that was bothering me really early in this game's announcement, where they can really hit or miss with some of these skins. Like I did mention the Pale Rider and the Blue Destiny, but for a free-to-play game, this is very important. You want people to buy the loot boxes and roll for these skins. You want people to want these legendary skins. You want people to want these weapon skins, the ornaments, all that stuff, because that's how the game's gonna survive. And if you don't have anything that's appealing that makes people want it, you're not going to have people drop money on this game, which is going to be a fast way to kill it. And we won't go too in depth for it because I'll wait for the game to launch to really give my opinion on this specific matter, but really just go to any other game with skins in them and look at the highest tier skins. They're either completely different outfits with particle effects, special effects, new sound bites, it does things to the character's moves that look different. They all look really nice, and while Gundam might have a few weird things about it because these aren't really characters, they're just mobile suits that don't talk, you're gonna really have to put some effort into that to make someone really want to drop money on it. But alas, let's end the video here because, like I said, it is a closed network testing, the game's not fully out yet, so things can change. But as of right now, these were my overall first impressions and what I thought. And I do want to stress again, I did enjoy this game a lot. It was very fun, and my friends who played with me, who don't really know anything about Gundam, they enjoyed the game as well, and they're people who've played other hero shooters unlike me. So while this game is a fun game to play, it's gonna need a lot of polish because while I'm gonna be there for launch, I don't know how long I'll stay. While my friends will be there for launch, I don't know how long they will stay. And this is something they really need to work on. They need to make it so it hooks people in and keeps them there. But this is all something that only time will tell. And while I do wish for the best of this game, let's see what happens. But anyways, thank you for watching and staying till the end of the video. Doing all that editing, I kinda wanna play Gundam Evolution again. Hopefully there's another open beta so I get to get my hands on it again. But anyways, Slothcakes here, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to have a good one, and bye bye.